Good evening, guys. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Once we get a couple people start joining, as long as you guys can hear me okay and see me okay, let me know. Doing it from my office tonight, so a lot of distraction, some things in the background. It's funny that I often get asked about organization. And everyone wants to know, how can I get better organized? How can I get better organized to win more? If you look around my office, it's a disaster. There's always things out of place and things going on. So, you know, when I teach the Sweeper Academy, I talk about organization and don't spend as much time worrying about that as you should trying to find great sweeps and enter great sweeps. I think those are a lot more important. So, trying to see if my my comments are coming up. There we go. So that I can look at these and scroll and see these. But yeah, good evening to you guys. So tonight's Facebook Live is going to be something fun. It's going to be more educational, and then we'll take some questions. I'll try and help people out. One of the biggest things I get as the owner of iWin is when someone wins something, especially for the first time or their very first trip, they have a lot of questions. They don't know what's going on. They're concerned about time frames and what should happen, what shouldn't happen, what should they ask. So I'm going to try and give you a few little tips that hopefully when you do get in these predicaments and you do get in these situations and you do win, that you're going to know what to ask and maybe what not to ask and what to expect. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions. If you ask questions throughout, that's fine. I'll probably do more of a question at the end because it's kind of easier than scrolling back through all the comments. We do have prizes to give away. Kathy from Pennsylvania donated a NFL, one of the NFL Direct, was it like NFL Direct packages, that you have a code that you can use for the games. And then Amy donated a $30 Burger King gift card. It's one of those gift cards that a lot of you guys just got that you have to use by December. I'll throw in some subscriptions to give away. So we'll give those throughout to various people. But thanks for joining. And I know some of you guys are Survivor fans. I'm a Survivor fan too. I'm DVRing it. Hopefully you're doing the same, or maybe you're kind of watching both at the same time. So, so first off, how do you find out that you won? Typically, you are notified by the way you entered. So if you entered online, you usually get an email. If you entered on Twitter, you get a direct message or a response back to your Twitter post. Same with Instagram. Same with Facebook. That's very, very common that you get those type of notifications. And a lot of times, it's very standard. You're going to get the notification that says you are a potential winner of whatever. It could be something little. It could be something big. It could be a car. It could be $10,000. But it's going to tell you you're a potential winner. And a lot of people always worry about that. And they're like, well, why am I a potential winner? Didn't I win? They got to make sure that you complied with the rules, that you're eligible. For example, you may have entered something for the state of Florida, but you live in Maryland and you're not eligible. So you could have, voided out yourself. Maybe you work for one of the companies by accident. Things like that do happen. It doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. Once you get that email, you're typically going to have to respond with either some paperwork or your personal information as far as name, address, phone number, things like that. If it's for a lot of the smaller prizes, they're just going to ask you to verify that you want to accept the prize and that you have complied with the rules and what your address is. But if it's a bigger prize, there's a good chance that there's paperwork involved. Paperwork being you're going to have to fill out tax form. You're going to have to fill out some paperwork agreeing to everything. Sometimes you have to agree to photographs or a video or an interview because they want to use that on their social media to say, hey, we sent this person to the Daytona 500 and we want to hear about the experience. So they're going to do that. There's all kinds of different things like that. Sometimes it has to be notarized. Sometimes a very small prize has to be notarized. And a lot of people ask, well, why is that? Sometimes a sponsor or fulfillment company doesn't want to take the risk that you're not who you say you are or you're not of age. So therefore, this is an extra protection. You see this a lot in anything to do with alcohol, fire. So when I say fire, like Bic lighters used to give away a lot of smaller prizes, and you would have to go and get something notarized if you won a Frisbee. And a lot of people are like, I'm not going to go waste my time and effort to get this notarized. I get it. That's totally up to you. So, after you win, though, now you sit back and wait. Because a lot of these companies, you're not going to get the prize to 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes 10 to 12 weeks. It's not uncommon. And sometimes, like if it's something that you win early, like the first week, or an instant win prize that you win the first couple days it starts, and they say the prize is going to be fulfilled 8 to 10 weeks after the sweepstakes ends, and say it doesn't end to the end of the year, there's a good chance you may not get this till the end of February or March or even April, even though you won your Xbox today. That happens. It's not uncommon. I try and stress patience with people. If you're entering legitimate sweeps, you usually don't have issues. If you are entering non-legitimate sweeps, and when I say non-legitimate sweeps, there's a lot of sweepstakes sites, and there's a lot of aggregates that filter in anything and everything. You may be dealing with, a person who has 5 of these to give away, and they were asked to write a review, and they give 5 of them away, and maybe they give them away, maybe they don't. It gets lost in the mail. Who do you deal with? It's why I don't waste time on certain sweeps, and I talk about that in I Win. I talk about that just over any time you guys hear me talk. There's companies that I prefer to enter from, and there's companies that I prefer not to enter from, just because I don't want the headache. So I don't want to chase down my blender. It's just not worth it to me. The biggest questions, though, rely on trips. And I know some of you guys probably watching don't enter for trips at all, and I get it. Maybe you can't travel, you can't get the time off work. It's why people like me have a huge advantage for trips, because I have the flexibility that I can usually make myself available to go. I can travel very quickly. If I find out today that I won a trip for, next Thursday, I can probably be on a plane and go on the trip next week, where a lot of people can't, and I understand that. But that's why those are a huge advantage to me, and that's why I focus on things like that, trips and trips with specific dates. I get a lot of questions, though, because when you win a trip, there's a lot of different elements, and sometimes a sponsor's handling it, sometimes a fulfillment company's handling it, sometimes they turn you over to a travel agent that's handling it. So I want to give you a few tips and advice on trips that will hopefully make those next wins a little bit easier. Somebody said weighing trips is fun. It is. It is awesome. I have done some amazing things. In fact, most of the photos you see in the back of me, those are all from trip wins. You can see like the one that would be over my shoulder this way is that's from the World Cup in Brazil. If I pan a little bit more, that was my first Super Bowl. You go a little higher, that was the Final Four. And then you go to the other side, and there's a bunch of different NASCAR trips. There's some soccer trips. You can see me there with a lot of these photos are up on I Win in the gallery. But I frame a lot of the photos, and I keep them up in my office. It kind of keeps the memories and the motivation for me. But as soon as I win a trip, I'm looking at flights. You should understand how to look at flights. Now, I use Kayak. I never actually have booked through Kayak, But to look for flights, it's fantastic because it shows you all airlines, times, dates, etc. So if I find out today, if I get a notification that I won a trip to Seattle and the trip is next weekend, I'm going to go online right now tonight and I'm going to see what I can fly on Friday and come back on Monday, if those are the dates hypothetically. I'm going to know those flights ahead of time. 9 times out of 10, if not more, if I tell whoever's booking the flight, whether it's the sponsor, the fulfillment company, the travel agent, if I say, hey, these flights work perfect for us, can we go on these flights? Most of the time, they're going to go with those flights, providing, you know, if you pick some crazy expensive flight, you know, no, there's usually a price consideration in there. But if you're economical about it and look and go, hey, you know what, these flights work, these flights don't, can I go on these flights? Or maybe you have a preferred airline, maybe you have miles on airlines that you could upgrade. Maybe you have a certain status on an airline, so you may get upgraded for free. So you want to try and fly that airline. I get all those things. I do the same things. The catch comes when one of the sponsors is an airline. So a lot of times I've won a trip and it was co-sponsored by Delta, or the one I recently won was co-sponsored by Allegiant Airlines. So I needed to fly that airline. I've won a trip with Southwest. I had to fly on a Southwest flight. So, you know, there are times where you're going to have to fly a specific airline, and that's not uncommon. But don't wait for them to come back to you and say, hey, do these flights work? Find flights ahead of time. This will save you a ton of time. As far as both people needing to fly from the same airport, I can tell you that, again, 75% or greater, they are not going to care if you ask them. For example, my brother lives in Ohio, and I say, you know what, I want to bring my brother on this trip. This flight works for him. I'm flying from Orlando. This flight works for me. Can we do it? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. It is extremely rare they don't. The only little like glitches that I've had with that was where they said, well, we're willing to pay for you to get a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, wherever the destination is, but we're not willing to pay for both. And I'd say, hey, no problem. He'll get himself there. Or you know what? I'll wait for his flight to come in and then we'll come together. There's a lot of things you can do like that. Traveling and winning trips is not 100% free most of the time. So you want to be aware of that too. You know, you're going to check into a hotel and they're going to ask you for a credit card. It's what happens. Even if the room is paid for, they're going to take a hold on a credit card for incidentals in case you charge food, in case you destroy the room, in case you want room service, you know, anything that you might possibly charge to the room. Sometimes there's parking. If you drove there, is the sponsor covering parking? Are they not? Sometimes they will, sometimes they will not. So you want to be aware that you can ask that. Going back to airlines, nowadays, there's so many airlines that charge for baggage. Most of them all charge for checked bags, with the exception of Southwest. And a lot of them even will charge for a check or a carry-on bag now. You know, if you're flying like a Frontier or Spirit, they'll charge you for a carry-on. So you need to be aware of that, because not all sponsors, not all fulfillment companies are just going to take care of that for you. Some of them, they'll book you in a class that you'll get a checked bag, you'll get a carry-on, and they'll have all that. You just want to ask these questions so you don't get surprises. Even with the Bud Light cruise, I know that there were some people who were booked on airlines that didn't have baggage. I can't remember how it worked out. I know a couple people had asked me, and I said, you know, reach out and ask them. They may cover it, they may not, but at least you know. So again, this is a question you should ask and you should know. Again, if you're checking into a hotel, though, make sure you have a credit card that's got some money on it. And I never recommend using debit cards. I know some people, that's what they use, that's what they have. But be aware that a hold on a debit card will actually pull that money out of your account. If you don't use it, you'll get it back, but some people aren't prepared for that. So you should know that. That's the same way with rental cars. So you got to be aware of that too. If you get a rental car, even if it's direct billed, they're usually going to put a hold on. It is rare that you win a trip that a rental car is direct billed. A lot of times they will either give you money towards a rental car and or transportation, or you'll totally be on your own. So just be aware of that. It is not uncommon to have to get yourself from your house to the airport, and when you land, to the hotel that they've paid for that you're checking into. That's very common nowadays. I obviously recommend Uber and Lyft. It's available in almost all cities now. It works super simple. You can win a ton of gift cards. Uber is constantly giving out gift cards and gift codes and things like that. I've been using Uber gift cards, I don't know, for the last couple of years, and I haven't dipped into having to pay for Uber in a while. And I use Uber quite a bit when I travel now. I actually rarely rent a car. There are times I have to, and there are times with a trip. So, let's see what else we got. Game tickets. So obviously a lot of the trips I've won are sports trips, and they come with game tickets. But, I was just talking to someone this week who had won some tickets for the hockey team in Tampa, and they had to download the app because everything is on the app. Everything's paperless. So be aware that that's a possibility, that you're going to have to understand how to download tickets on an app, have a phone that's capable of that. If you're sweeping, as much as I want all you people to subscribe to iWin and everything, one of the first things that you should invest in is a good phone. Even before newsletters, even before sites, get a good phone. Without a good phone, you limit yourself on so many sweeps. So have a good phone that you can put apps on, that you have plenty of storage. I mean, I upgraded to a 10 whenever the 10 came out a year or two ago, for the simple fact I needed more storage for more apps, photos, etc. Because I was pushing my limit always on storage space. So if you're a serious sweeper and you really want to take this hobby serious, invest in yourself. Invest in technology. Good computer, good phone. Those are two of the things that are like number one. And again, as much as I'd love to say, hey, iWin should be number one on your list, I'll put it number 2 or 3 behind a good computer and a good phone, because you have to have those things nowadays. It's so important to be able to take photos and videos and post things. And, without it, if you still got one of those old school flip phones, my father just upgraded to an iPhone. And, he's coming to visit me next week, and he says, hey, can you put the map thing on my phone? I'm like, Dad, it's probably on your phone already. Just scroll through and check it out. So I get the technology is different for a lot of people, but stay ahead of that. So game tickets, very, very common that you don't actually get a physical game ticket. You're either going to pick them up at will call, or they're going to be on your app. That's the more common thing, is they send you an email. You have to download the app or have an account with that team. They pop up on your phone, you scan your phone, and that's how you go into the game. If you have 2 or 3 people with you, that's how they go with you. If you're taking me to the game and I'm not with you, you can usually email one of those tickets to me so that I can download it, put it on my phone, and go into the game. Another question I get is how close to the event do I start to worry? Do I start to panic? I tease some people with the Bud Light cruise, because literally like 3 days after they won, they're like, oh my God, I don't have my airfare. I don't have my hotel. I don't know. They haven't responded. It's been 24 hours. What am I going to do? Who do I call? I've already texted them 17 times. I emailed them 14. What am I going to do? Patience, especially on something like that. They had, a couple hundred people win or whatever it was. There's a lot of people to get to. It's not just you. And even if it is just you, they have a lot of other stuff to do. It's not uncommon that this takes a little time. I tell people, stay in touch with people, but 1 week, 2 weeks if you want to really be safe, but 1 week. In other words, if I was traveling next weekend, Thursday, Friday, whatever, and I didn't have my airfare or my hotel or things like that, I would start to contact them. When I say them, contact who you're dealing with. You should always have the name and phone number of who you're dealing with, who's booking the travel. If you won this trip from Coke, but it's being filled by Hello World, and you call up Coke, they're going to refer you right back to Hello World. That's 9 times out of 10. The customer service rep at Coke doesn't know that you won a trip to the music awards or who you are or who's even handling it. They're going to look it up and they're going to say, oh, this is handled by Hello World. Contact them. And yes, we all know Hello World. You can't really call them. You deal with email. They send you an email, said they'll be back to you within 24 hours, and they're checking into it. We all hate that. I do too, but they normally deliver. There's very, very few times Hello World has not delivered or went far and above what they said they were going to do. So, so use that as a week out. As an example, I just talked to someone. I actually saw that they're watching. They won a trip to a soccer game, and it wasn't a trip, but it was like a bus trip. A bus would come to their house, and it was for like 20 people to go to the game and tickets. And you can understand, you have 20 people coming to your house, the panic when, hey, the game's next week and I don't have any of this. And so, say, hey, calm down. Let's go through the process. Let's reach out to who contacted us, and go through that. And then she did that. And sure enough, within a day or two, everything got resolved. The trip was wonderful. That she had a great time, and everything worked perfectly. But I can understand the panic. I just dealt with someone else that it was their very first trip they had won, and they won a trip to go to an NFL game. And it was days before the game, and they still didn't have all the pieces and parts in place. And that gets a little worrisome. So, you become a little bit more aggressive. But again, most of these things work out. It's not uncommon for them to be last minute. Earlier this year, I went to San Francisco, and one of the events was a baseball game. I was literally getting on the plane. I didn't know where my tickets were going to be. I assumed maybe the hotel, but I had reached out to them without a response, but they sent me a message saying, hey, here's the link for the tickets. And I was on the airplane heading out to San Francisco. So I got them when I landed. The tickets were for the next day. So I knew I still had a full day buffer, and I wasn't over worried about it. I had my airfare. I had my hotel. They actually had a driver that took us from the airport to the hotel, which some will include, again, some will not. So, but patience, I can't say it enough, is patience. If you have problems, follow the chain of command, reach out to the fulfillment company, the people who contacted you. I got to tell you, I watch some of these people post and go to a Facebook page and post publicly about it. And I'm just like, why? What good are you doing? And the person who's handling the social media for that particular company may know nothing about this. And you just feel if you make a big stink about it and complain about it, that eventually someone's going to get back to you. And you're right. They probably will. They're probably going to get back to you. But are they going to think twice the next time they decide to run a promotion, the next time they decide to run a contest? It's people like that, unfortunately, that give sweepers a really, really bad name. That we're greedy, that we're, the term in radio stations is prize pigs. And if you've ever Googled prize pigs, that's what it is. Someone who wins all these times, and they're just obsessed with winning all the prizes and everything they can. Don't be that person. Be the brand ambassador when you win. I talk about, when I've spoke at conventions, I talk about being a chameleon. If I win a trip, say I win a NASCAR trip, which you guys know I've won a ton of NASCAR trips, and I win it from Napa Auto Parts, and I'm going to be there and I'm going to meet Chase Elliott. I'm going to be the biggest Chase Elliott fan that day that I can be. Even if I am the biggest Kyle Busch fan, I'm not going to show up in my Kyle Busch hat and shirt. I'm going to show up in Chase Elliott gear. I'm going to show up in a hat or a shirt or something. And if you don't want to spend the extra money on that stuff, I get that. Then make sure you come with just plain normal clothes. It is very common when you win a NASCAR trip, they will actually tell you that in your instructions that you have to show up either wearing Chase Elliott gear or neutral gear. If you show up with another driver, they will not let you meet him. They will not let you in his pit area. They will not let you in his trailer. That is very, very common. So, those are some of the main things that I got is really, I mean, if you think back to it, is just realize there's patience involved. You have to have patience and realize that if you win a trip, there's going to be things you may have to pay for. So things to consider whenever you win a trip are flights. First off, when am I going to travel? Where am I going to travel? If I'd rather drive, fine. You know, they may give you some compensation to drive. They may not. That's totally up to them. Sometimes it's written in the rules within certain miles. Other times it's up to them. Food. Most of the time, you're still going to have to pay your own food. A lot of times the events will have food. To and from the hotel, to and from the airport. Be aware, a lot of times that's going to be on your own. Resort fees. So this was a new one. The last two trips I went on, I thought were interesting. So the one had parking was about $35 a day. And they would have flown me there, but it was close enough that I was able to drive. So I drove, and I preferred to drive. So I drove, I stayed at the hotel, I parked, but they actually had the parking built in to be direct billed to them. I wasn't sure. You know, I thought I may have to pay for the parking. I think it was 3 or 4 days at $35. So I would have had to pay it. The most recent one, was Vegas. And so I show up in Vegas and I check into the hotel. Everything's paid for except the resort fees. The resort fees were right around $40 a day, which covers like my internet, a water bottle, access to the fitness center, you know, a bunch of silly stuff, I guess you could say. But Vegas, that's become very, very common. So all I did was I just asked the sponsor. I just said, hey, I said, they mentioned I needed to pay the resort fees. I said, are they direct billed or do I need to pay them myself? And they said, no, you need to pay those yourself. Now, there was nothing in the rules that said I did or didn't. So I didn't argue it. I just paid it. You know, it was $120. I was there for 3 nights, and so be it. I had a great time. You know, it was a very low value trip as far as trips go. So, you know, just be aware there's going to be things like that that you're going to have to pay. And just don't get too bent out of shape when something goes wrong. And the last question I'll leave you with, and then I'll take questions, is people say, well, what if let's take trips aside, and what if I win a blender and it doesn't come? What do I do? So the blender doesn't come, you know, reach out to them by email, or, you know, if you have a phone number or whatnot. Usually it's by email. You email the person back and say, hey, just check in, see if my blender's on its way. I haven't seen it yet. It's been 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. And they're going to email back and say, oh, let us check into that, or no, they haven't went out, or oh, it did go out. This is when I talk about entering from mainstream companies and mainstream fulfillment company sponsors. Hello World, Prize Logic, Don Jagoda, CFA, any of those main ones. When you start entering into blog sweeps, and there's some great blogs, you know, and I have some great members there blogs, but not all of them. Dojo Mojo, King Sumo, some of these referral things like that, where you have numerous pieces coming together. It's harder to track down. And at some point, you just got to chalk it up to a loss. And for me, it depends on the value of the prize. You know, if it's $100 or less, I'm not chasing that hard. You know, you get to 500 or more, all right, maybe I'm going to chase a little bit more. But, you I just watch some of these people like for DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, and they are just like going crazy to try and get this stuff. Sorry about that. Making sure it wasn't iHeart calling me or text groups on fire, and I still haven't won. I don't know how you guys always win. Nobody ever wins from that, right? Man, we've had almost 70 winners from it. It's absolutely crazy. So look at the value of it. These Burger King gift cards are a prime example. I have seen so many crazy posts about these Burger King gift cards. I got to tell you, I contacted no one. Now, one, I didn't get mine. And the reason I didn't get mine, even though I requested it, just like most of you guys, was I had downloaded the app for their Christmas promotion. So my 45 fries all showed up in the app. So be it. It is what it is. And I talked about this, and I win throughout the process as we were entering. Lee did get hers. She got an $80 gift card. Just like everyone else, got the one, it didn't work, got another one, was told it was 300, got the other one, it's correct, it's 80. There were some people just went crazy, contacting Coke and Burger King and Hello World and just everyone under the sun for this. And I made the comment, and I win, when there's a lot of prizes like that, you really don't have to do anything. Don't spend all your time, because there's enough people out there that will go absolutely ballistic for their $5 or $10 or $15 gift card that they deserve because they entered and they won. They're entitled to it. And I get that. But it's $15. It's not going to change your life. Even at $80, an $80 Burger King card is not going to change anyone's life. If it is, you probably shouldn't be entering sweepstakes, period. But I get it, and I respect that it's money, but there's going to be people who chase that they'll get it fixed and you'll get your money. And that's exactly what happened. So all the people who spent all that time and effort, for us that were busy entering and winning other things, we thank you for doing that for us so that we didn't have to do that. Even though, again, I think if 2 people contacted them and not 40, that it would have probably got corrected either way. So, one other thing, and I apologize, I did forget this, is what if something arrives broken? So I've actually had 2 big screen TVs arrive broken. One of them, the box was destroyed, broken right away. I reached out to the sponsor. They fixed it, got me a new TV, no problem. Another TV I won a few months later, actually. I had actually set it aside, and about 2 months after I had got it, I went to go put it up and realized it had a crack in it. I never opened it. So I reached out to the sponsor and just said, hey, look, I never opened this. I went to do it. Is there anything that can be done? I'm sorry. I didn't even think the box looked in great shape, and I didn't even think to look in it to make sure. And they said, send me a couple pictures of it. And I did. And they did. They shipped me a new TV and got that one back and took that one back. So again, if you're dealing with a mainstream fulfillment company, sponsor, promotional company, you're probably not going to have issues when something arrives broke. If you're dealing with a smaller company or an individual that's maybe acting on the company's behalf, you might have more trouble. But again, reach out to them, see what happens, see what they say. And just like that, a TV, all right, I get it. Spend a little bit more time on it. If you're, I don't know, your T-shirt arrives ripped, am I even probably reaching out? No, I'm probably not. Again, that's up to you. But let's take some questions. We'll spend, the second half answering questions. It can be questions. I'd love it specifically about this subject. I really, really debated doing this as a webinar for members only. But I thought it was really good information that it's probably some of the biggest questions I got. And there's nothing better than when you actually finally win something. You spend this time entering. When you win, you want to know what to expect. So I'll go back through here, but go ahead and fire up some questions. And if they're on a different sweepstakes related site, by all means, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, I will try and do this. Let's see. Yeah, somebody said, sign up for UPS, FedEx, um, informed delivery with the United States Post Office. All those are free. You know exactly what you got. Do I give out the iHeart number? In the text group, we've talked about the iHeart number. I won't give it out on public. It's in the group. So anyone that's a member of the group, we give that out, what numbers that they call from. Obviously, we keep that within the group because it's an advantage to us. But I got to tell you, a lot of people don't answer phone calls. Answer your phone. If it says United States, that's probably not real. But like a lot of people don't enter restricted or unknown, answer those calls. I mean, worst case, it's a sales call. Hang up. Who cares? But if you're a sweeper, you should be answering your phone. It's kind of like being a sweeper entering for trips and not having a passport. You should have a passport that's current all times. If you're entering for trips, you should also answer your phone. People are like, well, I don't want to talk to some people. Well, hang up the phone. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. What are some keywords to look for on winning notifications? This is another question I get as far as, like email. So I don't enter a lot of the things where I have to agree to get emails from like 45 companies for this very reason. I don't get 10,000 emails a day. I might get a few hundred emails a day. I also, almost on a daily basis, I opt out of emails. But you can look for congratulations, potential winner. You can do that. But in reality, what I say, and I know some people aren't going to like this answer, but if you're getting that many emails that you're having trouble and possibly missing notifications, you're probably entering the wrong things. Unless you're somebody who has just an abundance of time. If you have an abundance of time, I get entering 1,000 things a day and doing it by mass volume. But the majority of us do not have 10 hours a day to enter sweeps. Most of us have an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. That's it. You really should not. You can be very successful at this hobby entering an hour a day if you actually enter an hour a day, even 30 minutes a day, but you do it consistently. If you do an hour today and you don't do it again for another week and then you do it again 2 weeks later, no, you're not going to win consistently. But if you're doing it consistently, you'll win. How do we get in the text group? So you have to be a member of iWin. That's number one. If you go to iWin and you go to the forum, there's a whole little list that explains how to join the text group. It basically, you need to send me some info. We use the app. It talks about what app and how to use it. And then basically I add you on. So if you're a member of iWin, just message me if you have questions. I'll be glad to explain it. Does Omaze email you then Skype if you win or call? They do. They do if you win Omaze. We just got an email. Somebody else just got confirmed as a winner from Omaze. And they did the Skype call. And, it's really kind of a general call. It talks about the charity, why you entered, things like that. Are you excited to go? Just depending on what you won. But you will have to do a Skype interview, and they do publish those. So be aware of that. That's not uncommon. That's how they do things. And you agree to it. It's in the rules when you enter. Somebody said, I want to be a member, but I can't afford iWin. I got to tell you, if you're entering sweepstakes, I think you can't afford not to be on iWin. iWin is not a charity. We're not meant to be cheap. We are cheaper than a lot of sites. I will say the price is going up here at the end of the month. It's $45 a year. It's $75 for 2 years. What I tell people is win something, take that money, whether you win a gift card or something, and invest it in a source, whether it's iWin, whether it's another one, and try it. Try it for 1 year. If you have a good source of information and use it, that's the second piece. Yeah, you can have it, but you actually have to use it. And if you use it, you should more than win your money back many times over. The very few people who I get who go, I haven't won anything, they're not using the site. And a lot of times I will actually go on the site and I can see if they logged in, what they looked at, what they clicked on. Any site can have that information. So it's not like I have some special information. Any site has that. So when people tell me, well, Tom, I've been doing everything you told me to do for the last 3 months or 6 months and I've never won anything, what I usually say is, all right, do me a favor, send me your social media accounts so that I can take a look. Maybe you're not entering something correctly. Maybe you're using the wrong hashtags. Maybe it's not public. Maybe you're not entering correctly. Most of the time, it's because they are not actually entering. I just had someone not long ago message me and say that very thing. And I went on and I was like, your last post on Twitter was 3 weeks ago. And this was during a time where there were like 2 or 3 really good sweeps on Twitter that she should have been doing every single day. We all miss days. It happens. The less days you miss, the better your chances. But I get a lot of people who say, you know what, Tom, I enter every single day. I enter every single day or almost every single day. And then when you look at the last 30 days on a specific sweep and you realize that they only entered 20 days, 20 out of 30 is pretty good. That's 2 out of every 3 days. But when you're competing against somebody who did enter 30 days and numerous people, that makes a huge difference statistically in odds. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm all about probability, statistics, and odds. Puppies, rainbows, unicorns, your lucky rabbit's foot, whatever is all fine and good, but it's not going to outweigh probability and statistics. So, don't get me wrong. There's definitely luck. There's definitely some luck, but you can make your own luck by entering things much, much more smarter. Just having good entries, entering skill contests. Somebody made this suggestion. This is a good suggestion. They said, at the end of their emails, they always in the last sentence say, please advise. So they ask the question or they, a problem, whatever it is, but they say, please advise. And just that little saying, we'll get you a response. And that's what they were saying is that they get a response most of the time. And that's good. Let's see what else we got. I renewed at the convention, won triple my 2-year membership within the month. That's what I like to hear. So someone asked, what's Omaze? Read any of the last issues of iWin. And I'm going to be doing iWin member webinars, iWin 101s next week. And I'll talk about Omaze. So just make sure you're getting that. Next week, they'll be in tomorrow night's issue. But I'm going to do a couple different times next Wednesday for information about the new site. For those who aren't part of iWin, we revamped the site again, put a bunch of money into it to make it a little bit more user-friendly, add some more content. We'll talk about GroupMe, because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of questions on GroupMe, so we'll cover GroupMe. I'll talk about Omaze a little bit, and I'll talk about the Coke sweeps a little bit. So. Somebody responded, you will know when you join. Yeah, again, I do these public ones because I do want to help people in general. But I will say my members take priority. So I will help people and I'll answer questions. And if you send me a question, 99% of the time, I'm going to respond to it. I will generally try and help you the best I can. But my members and the people who subscribe to the site are definitely going to always take priority as they should. That's like any business, unfortunately. Let's see. All the good comments on iWin. I appreciate that. My first one with iWin, I won the iHeart Music Fest trip. I got to tell you, I've won a lot of stuff. And I've very, very blessed on the stuff I've won. No complaints. But I get jealous. I get jealous just like you do, just like most of you guys do. I can't believe I can't win iHeart. Now, Grant, in fairness to me, just like I tell people, you got to enter it religiously, I don't. I don't have the time to get to all the text every single day. I probably don't get to half of them because I have so much else to do. But I try, and I've tried to get better with it. Especially, I mean, we just had 3 winners in a week's period. So I've been trying this week. I've been a little more motivated to try and get those texts in. Yeah, I mean, that's eluded me. So I'm glad though. I mean, I can't believe for as small a group as it is, which it's way bigger than it was a couple years ago. The amount of people who have won from it is just amazing. Like we go to a convention now, we'll be like, hey, who's won from the iWin text group? And it's amazing how many hands go in the air. So it's really cool. I'm glad that that's done so well. Somebody asked, what will the new pricing be? It's going to go up. My guess is somewhere around like $10 a year. So like 20 cents a day. We're not talking an astronomical change. But I haven't given numbers publicly. So, but we're not going to 75 or 100, even though I get emails and a lot of people don't believe this, but I get emails all the time saying, I wish you would charge more. I wish you would charge $100. I wish you would charge $125. And as crazy as that sounds, I remember the first site I joined before I had iWin. And I remember being at a convention and talking to the owner of the site, and it was very cheap. And I said, I wish you would charge triple what you charge now. And my logic was, if he charged triple, I would pay it, but some people wouldn't. So he would probably do just as well with a smaller group, but this group was going to win a lot more because the information was more valuable. My goal with iWin is not to be the biggest site. It's why when you log into iWin, there's not 10,000 sweeps. I don't want you to spend 20 hours a day on iWin entering. I want to enter specific things for specific reasons that you have specific odds and better chances of winning. I get emails constantly from companies saying, hey, could you give this out to your subscribers? Could you promote this? A lot of times my answer is no. And the reason being is I don't want something that's going to have a gazillion entries. I want specific things on iWin. So let's see. Just won $3,600 in gift cards from iWin. That's awesome. What do I think of PCH or Public Search Clearinghouse? I personally never enter. It's just, again, do they give away the prize? Sure. It's just, I don't want to bash like Dojo Mojo, but like you guys hear me in the newsletter say that they're legit. They give away their prizes, but the odds are so extreme and what you agree to. And I just did a survey and I asked some people about King Sumo and Dojo Mojo and have you read their terms of service? And every single person I asked said, no, I've never read them. Go read them. And most people don't read them, but they can do whatever they want with your info. They can use your info to market it to potential clients to say, hey, look, we have these type of people in our database that will enter and come after your prize. And don't get me wrong, your information's out there if you're entering sweepstakes, but it's just, there's a difference of odds. There's just a difference of odds. So somebody asked, can I give away some subscriptions again today? Yes, let's give some prizes away. In fact, you know what? Wendy Windham McBride, I have a 3-month subscription for you. All you do is message me. Let me know if you're a current subscriber. If you're a current subscriber, great. I appreciate that. I'm just going to add it on. If you're not, I'll get you a code so you can get signed up. So let's do that. Let's give away that Burger King gift card that Amy was so kind to donate. Some of you guys know Amy. Amy Amy sometimes will sit at my vendor table at the national convention. She attends most of them. She likes to donate on these little Facebook Lives, and I appreciate it. In fact, Amy, why don't I think you're watching. Why don't you email me, and for all your donations, I want to make sure that you have 3 more months of iWin also. So do that, and I will get you a code for that. All right, let's, why don't you guys comment with BK me? BK me. And we're going to do this live. So if you comment with that, as it pops up on the screen, I kind of have a number in my head. And when I see comment number X, that's the person I'm going to get you that gift card. So BK me. And I'll pick one of you guys out and give you this. You guys are probably sick of Burger King, right? You got so much Burger King. Wouldn't it have been great if we would have all got $300? I have to say, there was part of me that wouldn't have been shocked if they would have just said, man, we've botched this up so bad. You guys all can have $300. All right. Yeah, and if you comment more than once, I'm okay with it. I know some of you guys commented more than once, so I didn't say you could only comment once, so I want to make sure you guys all know that. I'm waiting. I just got a few more. Some of these, the way they pop up, are always interesting. We're still working with $200 Wendy's gift cards. My phone is auto-correcting. What is BK me auto-correcting to? That's funny. Renee Dubril. I know Renee, and I know I'm saying your last name wrong, but how about you're my winner of that? Send me an email or send me a message with your email, and I will have that sent over to you. All right. And what else? So let me pull up exactly what this is real quick. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I say it right. Again, thanks to Kathy from Pennsylvania. She is the one who donated this. But I want to just pull it up and make sure I'm saying it right. So it is it's an NFL Game Pass. Some of you guys won these. I think they were from Tostitos. $100 value, so you'll have it for the rest of the season. And comment with your favorite NFL team, your favorite NFL team that you enjoy watching, and I'll go through and I'll randomly pick one of those in a second. And we'll give out some more iWin subscriptions as well. So gift cards. So I love gift cards. Gift cards are awesome to win. Some of you guys always laugh when I pull out like my little jar. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can get them out. Let's see. I have 2 of them now because there's so many. See, if you guys ever come to my house, you can see like iWin headquarters and realize that it's my office and it's very messy. But for people who doubt you can win gift cards, some of you guys can see this. So I save every Visa, MasterCard, Amex that I win. I mean, and there's tons. Every single one I've won, Now, Grant, this is over years. I have, and I just keep them in a box. I've always debated like making a wall of them, but I mean, here you can see there's just stacks and stacks of them. So there's this, and then this is what I have in my second box. So not as much in my second box, but you know, a decent amount. These are all Visa, MasterCard, American Express that at one point I have won. Some of them may be $5, some of them may be $1,000. But as I win them, some of you guys know I use mine almost right away. Like if one comes in the mail today, I put it on my cell phone or my cable bill. It's an easy way that I can use it right away. So I always have credit on my cell and cable. Since I moved to Florida, which is almost 5 years ago, I have not paid for my cell phone bill or my cable bill at all. It's all been by gift cards I've won. And I don't always use it for that, but for the most part. Sometimes you can't use them online. So I go to Disney quite a bit. So example, I just won one of the $250 ones from Pringles, and I couldn't use it online. It wouldn't take it. So the next time I went to Disney, I bought a $250 Disney gift card because I know I'm going to use it, and I like to use them. I don't like to save them. Now, don't get me wrong, like the store gift cards, stuff like that, I have all of them. Let's see. Terry Simon. Terry Simon, you're my NFL winner. Terry, send me an email or a message. I keep saying email. Just send me a message and I'll get you that. We'll give away some some more subscriptions. Someone says they use gift cards on trips. I try and do that a lot too. So I have another bin sitting here that's not as big because it's everything that's current, but these are all my current gift cards. And I have a few more in here. I just couldn't grab them, but I just keep them in a bin on my desk, and I do the same thing. I try and use them when I go on vacation, when I travel. Fanatics, you almost always have Fanatics gift cards. So if I win a trip and I need a hat or a shirt or something like that, I try and purchase it. Some of you guys know I just got to go see the Vegas Knights home opener. I posted those photos. It was an awesome trip. I was in a suite. I didn't have a Vegas Knights hat. I did try and go on Fanatics and use my gift card, but their gift card processing was down for a few days. So when I was in Vegas, I picked up a hat. So let's see. So how should I give these I win ones away? Should we do trivia? So we do a trivia question. We'll give some random, but let's do another 3 months and we'll do trivia. We'll go how many, and some of you guys know this, and some of you guys are just going to guess, I'm sure, but and it'll be the first person I see, not necessarily the first person, because sometimes the way they pop up on my screen, you might have been first, but it gets hit by another one that responds at almost the exact same time. So you got to trust me on this, that whichever ones I see, that's who I'm going to answer. And that's who's going to win. Let's see. Let's go with how many trips have I won this year so far? So the first person who answers correctly, it will get another 3 months. Someone guessed 15. It's not 15. I wish it was 15. 57. That's even funnier. Some of you guys are guessing away. Man, you guys give me a lot more credit. I wish I would have won this many. Some of you guys are just going to start writing numbers down now. We're close, but I haven't seen it pop up. And again, if you comment with it, I apologize. I have not seen it pop up as of yet. Karen Jackson, 5. I've won 5 trips this year. So my trips, I went to the Super Bowl was my first trip. I had a trip to Georgia. I won the Bud Light Cruise, the trip to Vegas, and then with ION-TV, which I haven't posted the photos from that. That was in August. I won it. I was actually at the national convention when I got notified. So Karen Jackson, I know you are a subscriber. I will get those added to your account. You can send me a message just to remind me in case I forget. We'll do one more trivia, and then we'll do 1 or 2 random people. Let me look up something. 1 second. I had to double check. I couldn't remember how many trips I've won so far. But so since I've been doing this, since I've been entering, Vegas was my most recent trip. It was just a couple weeks ago. What number trip was Vegas? So it was my whatever trip win. So. And then we'll pick some random people, and then we'll answer a couple more questions. I'll let you guys get out of here. I got to work on iWin, and looking forward to the convention in North Carolina, where I will see you guys. No, I'm not already in North Carolina. I'm flying in tomorrow night. Again, and it's the first one I see. So if somebody else, says it first, I apologize. But I'm watching them scroll through, and sometimes, again, they don't post in order necessarily. Yes, all together. How many trips all together? Do I do prize grab? No, I do not. Again, just for me, better stuff to enter. I'll tell you guys, it's not over 100. A couple of you guys are guessing over 100, but it's not over 100. Some of you guys were close. And again, I hope it didn't pop up already, and it just didn't pop up on my screen. That could have happened, and if so, I apologize. Please understand that I don't do that on purpose. There we go. Wendy Black, you're the first one I see at 67. Wendy, I know you are a subscriber. I will get those added, but again, you can send me a quick message just so I don't have a brain lapse and forget. I will try and get those added for you tonight. So 67. It was my 67th trip win. So I'm sneaking up on 100 slowly but surely. That's kind of always been my goal, was to get over 100. But I win probably usually about 6 to 8 a year. It was kind of slow. I had only won 2 trips up until the start of, or up until like late July or so, whenever Bud Light notified us. That was the 3rd one. And then, like I said, when I was at the convention, that was the first week of August. That was the television one. And then just a couple weeks ago was the Vegas one. And that Vegas one was in iWin. That was a fantastic short run sweep that if you didn't subscribe to iWin, you probably didn't know about it. And that's why I talk about. Yeah, so someone asked about paying for delivery of prizes. No, don't do it. You shouldn't have to. And then also, like some of them want reviews in exchange. You're entering the wrong things. If you're winning a prize and they want a review, you got to be real careful, because those reviews like that on Amazon, it gets your Amazon account locked up. And if you're like me, who orders like everything on Amazon Prime, I don't want anything happen to my Amazon account. So I'm not going to be doing a review for somebody on some product just to get it for free. It's just not worth it to me. You can lose those. How long have I been entering? I have been entering since, I always forget when I officially started. It's March of 2008. So a little over 11 years. For those who haven't heard the story, I won a truck before I was really a sweeper. I always entered things growing up as a kid and radio contests and things like that. But I won a truck. I won the very first Bud Light cruise ever, which was the same year. And then I was a finalist for a trip to the Final Four at a local radio station in Cleveland. And I went to the event and I lost. You had to play Pop-A-Shot, and it was awesome. They did like, I remember 64 people or 32 people came, and you competed against each other in Pop-A-Shot, and whoever was left at the end won the trip to the Final Four. I played someone very good at Pop-A-Shot, and I consider myself average. I did not expect to win, but it was cool because you got food and you got prizes and tickets, and you got a lot of other stuff. But I came home that night and I just said, there's something to this. I started looking online. I actually joined a sweepstakes site. I started entering, and I entered everything. I was entering 300 things a day, spending all this time. I discovered a form filler real quick. I'd read about it. I'd read about the forms and tips, and I was just entering, and I was excited to win anything. And I went to my first convention about a year or so later in Minnesota, and I've went every year since. But I went to Minnesota, and I realized that there's a lot more logical ways to enter. And Steve Dadoff, who many of you guys know, who just hosted San Diego, highly respected sweeper, has won a ton of stuff, but he was speaking, and he used a phrase that I use often now, that said luck plus skill equals winning. And at the time, he got up there and said, my name's Steve, and I've won 180 some trips. He's somewhere close to 300 now. But I was just like, wow. Like, how in the world does someone win 180 some trips? That's crazy. At the time, I had won like 4, maybe. If that. I don't even know if I'd won 4. I'd won a couple. I'd won the truck, obviously, the Bud Light cruise. I had actually won like a trip to Disney, was like one of my first trips I had ever won from a local radio station. I had won a trip to Vegas from a radio station. But I really wasn't entering, big stuff. And I realized that there's 2 theories. You can enter everything and think everyone's out to help you and enter off each other's walls and all this other stuff. Or you can enter very specific things. I made a video tonight before shooting this that I'm going to enter. It's not for a very big prize, but I know there's not a lot of entries, because I'm guessing 95% of the people who are watching this did not enter. Even though it's on iWin, it's posted. I posted it in the newsletter. I talked about it. But people don't want to do it. People don't want to do videos. People don't want to do things like that. Whoops. People don't want to do things like that. So I have better odds, and it's all about entering smarter. That's the whole concept of iWin. You either believe in it or you don't. And if you don't, I respect that. And you can go enter with the masses, and you're going to win stuff as long as you put in the time and the effort, you're going to win. But if you don't have a lot of time and you want to enter specific things, come join iWin, buy into the process. It's a process and it takes a while to get used to, but once you realize that, you'll have a lot more success. So many guys asked about Roscoe. Roscoe's not here. Hey, Roscoe. Roscoe, you want a treat? Here, we'll put Roscoe on. You know, I stopped. Roscoe doesn't attend most of the webinars, the paid classes, but Facebook Live is a little different because some people had said he was a little distracting, so we don't put him in the classes. Come here, Roscoe. Want to say hello? Where are you at? Come here, buddy. So we'll put Roscoe on. We'll answer the last couple questions. I'll let you guys get out of here. Come here. There's Roscoe. But yeah, it's really all about entering smarter, not harder. You know, these people who spend hours and hours and hours on day and tagging everyone and, you know, their secret little groups and everything. I got to tell you, there's nothing wrong with having secret groups and there's nothing wrong with working together. I actually have a lot of respect for that, but you still got to be entering the right things. And if you're not, you're just entering, you know, and I posted before tonight and I said, do you enter to enter or do you enter to win? And there's definitely people who enter to enter, and that's fine. You like just hanging out and filling out your entry blanks, and if you win and you're happy. But if you really want to be aggressive and you want to win, you learn to enter the right things, you get the right information, and you have to find a source that's going to give it to you. If you pay for a site, whether it's iWin, whether it's anyone else, but are they the best site for you? Do they give you content that you like to enter, that you can enter? And what motivates them to get their content? You know, there's sites out there that if you send them a sweepstakes, they're going to put it on their site. It's a sweepstakes, put it on the site. I go through 2,000 sweepstakes to decide what to put on because I don't want people spending a lot of time wasting time. I taught a skill class last night and there was a really good skill sweep, but you had to design a t-shirt. I looked at the entries and I realized that 98% of my members are never going to win this, including myself. It's not going to happen. These were graphic designers. These people were knocking it out of the park. So it's not something I'm going to put on my site, even though it's a contest. You could win a nice prize. I don't remember what was it. I think it was a trip and some few $1,000s. But the odds of you designing the shirt to win that is not really great. I don't want people spending the 2 or 3 hours to do that. I'd rather they spent 2 or 3 hours entering something else. It's probability statistics. So let's give away 2 more of these. I'm just going to scroll and pick random and see who I land on. Whoops, I'm getting cut off. You know what? It's only letting me scroll so far. So to give you guys all a shot, let's just comment with iWin, IWIN, one word. Comment with it. We'll give 2 more of these away random. I'll give you a minute or 2 to get caught up, but tonight, you know, I don't always do the prizes live. Sometimes I do them on demand. Sometimes I give people an hour to catch up. But if you were one of those people who stuck with me and stayed with this whole hour program, I am going to reward a couple more of you. If you're going to North Carolina, wear your shirts, wear anything iWin related. I have some gift cards that I'll be giving out randomly if I see you. Don't just come up to me and go, hey, look, I'm wearing my iWin shirt. I'll see you. They're just random. And how some of you guys have seen how I do this in the past. I have random predetermined time. So I may say at 10:12, the first person I see is going to get a gift card. Or like in San Diego, I did the first person who I saw on the first day of the convention that was wearing something iWin got a gift card. And I walked out of my hotel room. I got in the elevator and the person in the elevator was wearing a shirt. They got a gift card. So, and again, you don't have to buy a shirt. If you want to make your shirt, you want to carry an iWin banner or anything, some of you guys can see if I scroll all the way up, So Lisa, I think you might still be on. Lisa actually made that little banner that's up there with Sweeper University, and she used it in some photos, and it hangs in my office, and I love it, and I thank you for it. So let's go with let's see. Here, let's mix these up and go Lynette Corin. I actually don't know if I know you, Lynette. If I do, I apologize. I don't remember. So Lynette Corin, send me a message. Let me know if you are a current subscriber. And if you are, great. I'll add it. And if not, I'll get you a code to get you signed up. Let's pick one more. Hey, Roger popped on. Roger, happy birthday to you, even though you entered the sweepstakes wrong. But happy birthday to you. Roger's a good friend of mine. All right, let's just spin. I want to do one. Somebody did one with a marbles, and all the names were marbles, and you could watch them all spin around and see which one fell. Whichever one fell, that's how it picked it. So I need to find that as my new randomizer, because that's what I want to do. So who are we going to pick? Trying to mix these up. Patty Wallace. Patty Wallace, I am 90% sure you are a subscriber. Go ahead and let me know, and I'll get you added. So, so I have 3-month subscriptions for Wendy Black, Karen Jackson, Wendy McBride, Lynette Corin, Patty Wallace, and Amy Sass. Also, Burger King going out to Renee, and the NFL gift card going to Terry. I appreciate you guys all. I look forward to seeing you guys in North Carolina. The last plug is, if you don't subscribe to iWin, think about it. You have just over a week till price raises. It's currently $45 a year, $75 for 2 years. So subscribe, renew, get your price locked in. Don't worry about it. I will also be posting all the new Sweeper Academy classes for January. There are no more left this year. They will be in January, and we will be doing a Sweeper Academy live full-day class in New Hampshire. The National Convention asked me if I would be willing to do it. It will include lunch. It will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the Thursday of the start of the National Convention in New Hampshire. You must be registered to attend the National Convention to sign up for the Sweeper Academy Live. So questions on that, by all means, get with me. Other than that, that is it. Let's see. Do you have Just Win It shirts? No, I don't have any more of the Just Win It shirts. I will be trying to come up with maybe some new shirts or something for next year. I know some of you guys like the colors. You've seen me wear the colors at the convention, so we'll try and pick some of those too. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it gives you some tips, some suggestions to have some patience when you win those great prizes, that you can actually relax and know that you're going to go on a good trip and have a good time. 90% of the time things work out. There's times they don't, but how you handle them, there's going to be other ones. So other than that, you guys have a great rest of the week. iWin will be out tomorrow late afternoon, a little bit earlier than normal. And then also, I will see most of you guys in North Carolina. Take care. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.